Yeah, so we'll give you 10 minutes to present, 5 minutes of Q&A afterwards, and then we'll cut you off right at 10 minutes. I think Mark will give you some warning.
I'll give you some signals when I remember to, but I'm trying to listen so I don't forget.
Cool.
Go ahead whenever you're ready.
Cloud services are not about saving photos, they're about recording memories. They're not about saving important documents, they're about recording your professional, collaborative progress. Folks, my name is Akash. I'm here today with Sean, Christoph, and Ashley. And today we'd like to talk to you about our expansion strategy from Dropbox Personal into what we like to call Dropbox for Business. Our strategy has three main components to it. Number one, we want to increase our sales efforts so that we're able to reach corporate consumers. Number two, we'd actually like to form strategic partnerships with companies to increase our distribution and to pre-install our software onto hardware products. Number three, we'd like to be able to customize our offering for unique companies and unique industries so that they can see a unique value proposition from our software.
So we chose this strategy for three main reasons. First off, Dropbox has a well-established track record that positions itself very well for this segment. Second of all, this market is rapidly growing and we'd really like to capture a larger share of this growth. Third of all, we see that our competitors are going towards this segment. For example, Carbonite has introduced Carbonite Pro, so we think that this would be a good opportunity for us to get in there and become more competitive. So previously, Dropbox couldn't or had trouble expanding into the business segment because of this catch-22. So you can't make sales unless you're certified by IT, but you can't become certified by IT unless you make sales and have this proven track record. So in the past, this didn't really work for them. But now, with this proven track record and a user base of over 4 million users, we have this track record to go ahead with the strategy. As well, we see that there's 28% annual growth in this market for synchronization and backup services. And so this would be a really good opportunity to capture a bigger share of the market. In the past, what we've seen is that Dropbox has been successful capturing the personal segment. So they've used organic growth strategies that's worked really well for them, and they've kind of figured out this segment of the market already. However, there's a lot of untapped potential within the business segment, and this would be a great opportunity for them to capture greater market share and kind of tap into this segment. So finally, we see that in compared to competitors, Dropbox isn't ranked in the top 25 when it comes to SMB sales or enterprise sales, but it is ranked 6th for consumer sales. However, competitors such as Mozy and Carbonite are ranked in the top 5 for both consumer segment and the business segment. And we really want to compete with these competitors and have this competitive advantage. In addition, there's the potential that Google will kind of come into Dropbox space and introduce their own product. And we want to be able to capture the largest market share possible and lock in customers right now before Google comes in. And by targeting the business segment, which we haven't had as much success with, we're better able to do that.
So building on Ashley's point, expanding into the business segment is also a very profitable venture. So based upon a market sizing exercise we did, starting on with the number of Salesforce personnel we're going to hire, we estimate that each year, Dropbox is going to acquire 14,600 new users in the business segment. Now, assuming a $20 per month fee per user, that translates to approximately $2.5 million profit in 2010. Now, with, of course, a growing user base and decreasing variable costs, that number becomes $16 million in 2014. Now, if you have any questions regarding these numbers, you can feel free to ask me about my assumptions and calculations in the Q&A. Now, kind of building off that point, now what we did was we projected both the growth, if assuming Dropbox only targeted customers, and the growth assuming they targeted both customers and enterprises. Now, as you can see, if they choose to target the business segment, now that increases significantly as Dropbox grows into the forward-coming years.
So how are we going to achieve this growth that Sean just talked about? Well, number one, our sales team has been pretty successful so far in reaching personal consumers. And what we'd like to do is we'd like to increase our sales efforts and actually channel them towards corporate customers. Now that's going to start with small to medium-sized businesses, but eventually as our growth continues, we're going to be able to target those multinational corporations. But we realize that this strategy is actually limited to the amount of people that we actually have on our sales team making those phone calls. And so what we'd like to do is increase the quality of our relationships over the quantity. We want to be able to form strategic partnerships with hardware companies that can pre-install our software onto their products. And so, for example, when a company like Lenovo is approached by a multinational corporation, and that multinational corporation is ordering 1,000 laptops for their employees, we actually have our software already installed on their laptops. And after that 1 to 2 month trial period where those employees in the company is seeing the functionality, that multinational corporation is then able to come back to us and then continue to subscribe for more services and more storage. Now, what kind of services are we looking to offer? Well, different companies in different industries are going to seek different value from our software. And so if we take an example where we're offering value to a production company who's using Final Cut Pro and Adobe Photoshop, these are programs that need to access a high volume of files, such as photos and videos, quite frequently. And so we need to increase the bandwidth and offer that unique value proposition to them. If we take a company in the financial services sector, they don't need an increased speed of connection, but they need more security. And so that is a customizable add-in that they can then add to their subscription. If we take a consulting company who's working on a variety of drafts of presentation decks, they need to be able to access files that perhaps they deleted 2 to 3 years ago, or perhaps in the case of the US government, access emails that were deleted 15 to 20 years ago. They need increased recovery capabilities, and so that's the unique add-in proposition that we'd like to offer for them.
All right, with every new proposition that a company has, with every new business idea, there's a lot of upside that we've heard, but there's also a lot of downside potential, and this is where the risk comes in. One of the main risks we see is with competitors. So a lot of companies already in this space, the business kind of Dropbox, cloud storage space, and we'd be entering a market not as a first mover. We see a risk there. Also, multinationals, such as Google and Microsoft, billions of dollars, and they already have established relationships with a lot of these businesses. Second of all, one of the risks we see is opportunity costs. So if they're investing in this idea, maybe they won't have enough money and cash to invest in their existing core product, where they're servicing personal clients that are using Dropbox on a personal basis. So that is an additional cost. We have to see, is it worth it? Is the financial risks worth it to pursue this idea? Thirdly, trust and security is of utmost importance to most of businesses that we're going to target. They want to be sure that the data that they store with a third party, such as Dropbox, is safe, secure, and not accessible by anybody else. However, we think that Dropbox is well positioned due to their branding and their track record of a successful history, that they will mitigate these risks. And now on to our action plan. We currently find ourselves in mid-year of 2010. So we see our immediate action in creating partnerships with different companies as fast as possible to develop those relationships and develop ideas how we can pair their products with our products, like was mentioned before. Then the second step is to actually develop this new Dropbox for Business platform so we can actually launch it and also develop a marketing strategy to go along with it. We project January 2011, we'll actually have our hard launch of this product. We'll ship it out to all of our businesses that we've been talking to and partnering with together with our marketing strategy. Going forward, we think that a lot of these businesses will want to tweak out how the service exactly works. Different companies in different industries might have add-ons specifically to their needs that we will help program and develop going forward after launch. And finally, we think this is a very profitable opportunity for us, and we see the growth and the profits that we're going to have from that. We're going to reinvest it so we can have sustainable growth in the next 4 to 5 years. Just to summarize the operations and the plan in general, currently their position is they want to grow not only at the same rate but faster and capture even more market share, not only in their existing space but in the business space as well. So we think launching Dropbox for Business is the best idea at this point in time. And we can achieve this first by building relationships, partnerships. Secondly, by launching this new product, having a cohesive marketing plan. And thirdly, monitoring and developing more add-ons on an on-need basis. And we think at the end of the day, this innovative strategy will deliver the kind of growth that Dropbox is looking for right now, and to become a market leader not only in their existing space, but become a market leader in the business segment that they're just launching in right now. Thank you.
9 minutes, 15 seconds.
Sorry?
9 minutes, 15 seconds.
Sorry.
Great job, guys. Yeah, so just going and looking at sort of for the risks, you're looking at trying to be preloaded onto hardware now. I imagine that's probably what everyone would love to do, because then you're on everything. But what makes you think that you'll be the software that Lenovo says, yeah, we want Dropbox preloaded on all of our hardware?
I think it's
What are you providing them, I guess, is what I'm saying. Because everyone would want to do that.
right. I mean, I think it's the idea that because we're able to offer so many different customizable features, our product actually has application for a variety of different industries. And so, as we are kind of a leader currently in kind of the personal category, because we're looking to increase that application, that variability, you know, Lenovo kind of has a better shot at going with us because we are in a position to innovate and to increase our offering, whereas you know, other companies might not be so keen on expanding their offering or customizing their product for the different kind of potential consumers.
Great.
Just wanted to clarify, so when you go with Dropbox for Business, all of the services that are offered will be customizable, so one company can pay for more bandwidth or another company can pay for longer recovery times, is that correct?
Yeah, what you want to think?
Yeah, I'll take that. So basically, like when we do Dropbox for Business, I forgot to mention this in the presentation, but like you saw the numbers, the price was like 15 plus $5, right? So $15 per user is pretty much like price for like the baseline product that we're providing. So, you know, unlimited storage, file sharing, etc.
Mm-hmm.
Now, like if you want to add additional things like encryption, faster bandwidth, etc., then you can add another like $5 add-in, which would be included in the monthly subscription price.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, it does. But does it make sense to have incremental individual costs for services that will benefit the entire company? So to have each individual pay $5 more for the
Right.
entire company to be able to recover files for a longer period of time, wouldn't it make more sense to have the entire company pay for that service? Have a flat rate for the company service?
Well, I guess that would be definitely a reasonable way to do it, but kind of going in the numbers, like we did our calculations on an individual basis, so it was more, it makes sense for us to kind of allocate that cost to on an individual basis.
Sure.
Which was $5, which was the average price we received.
I'm interested in your adaptability portion of this. So say once you're working with lots of different like small and medium-sized enterprises and even getting into larger companies like Lenovo, how are you going to be adaptable to all of their needs? If one company requests that they need better security that you don't have, someone else requests that they need something completely different you don't have, how will you try to meet all of their needs with limited staff and resources?
I don't know, I can take that. So for all businesses, we're going to have a baseline kind of Dropbox for Business product. So it's going to be a very simple product, very similar to like the personal use one, with some perks that makes it more feasible for a big organization, a lot of users to use. And then just we'll have things called add-ons that you can easily just install kind of as an extra patch on that software so that different companies can just add that on based on their needs. But we'll have a baseline product that is kind of usable for all different products. And if you want to add specifically more security, more password protection and encryption, that'll be like an add-on on top of that where you pay the extra monthly fee.
To kind of add on to that point, you know how like when you want to order like a Mac on Apple, right? You have the option to add different features. So it could be kind of like that in a sense where like the company want to order 500 laptops from Lenovo, right? Then on their ordering page, then you have a page just dedicated to Dropbox, and you can just kind of select the different options that you want to be included in your subscription. Does that make sense?
Was your question about like how will we meet the capacity with our limited staff?
Mine's not as much about just the add-on system, it's how you'll adapt into the long term. So one of your parts of the implementation was identify further needs. What will you do when they come back to you with more add-ons you don't have? How will you manage that growth?
In our action plan, in our growth phase, like we would have to be regimented and saying, okay, these are the 5 add-ons that we're going to offer for the next year, based on kind of, you know, for example, with VoteBox and, you know, customer feedback and stuff like that. If there is a set of companies that say there is a need for this, we would have to kind of gauge that demand and then say, okay, these are the next 5 add-ons that we're going to offer in the next year.
Okay.
I don't think we'd be in a position to say, okay, we can add them on as they come, because that's just out of our capacity.
Makes sense.
Yeah, just to build on that, when you're looking at multinational organizations like TD or Bain or whatever, they're obviously going to be putting a lot of money into this if they end up choosing Dropbox as their file sharing system. cloud service. And they're going to be looking for that customizing option. And you guys probably won't be able to offer that. So do you think that targeting these multinational organizations is actually realistic right now? And then my second part of the question is,
Just one part at a time.
okay, that one part. Do you think it's realistic, or maybe we should shift?
Get your spot.
Yeah, so right now our strategy is kind of going to the SMB sector, so the small medium business sector, and then as the company grows and as we increase our employees, increase the number of employees that we have, then we're looking more towards those multinational corporations. So it's kind of like a stepped growth, so SMB first and then those multinational enterprises instead of going directly to like the US government to start off.
I'll be frank when I say the logos were not indicative of the size, but also as of the industry that we were looking to indicate with, but yeah, very well put.
Awesome, thanks guys.
Thanks, guys. So we'll do like a debrief at 8 o'clock and announce winners then, and then we'll head over to my house. Yeah,
In
so,
here.
Yeah.
if you guys can make it.
Great
Cool.
job,
Yeah,
guys.
good job,
Thank you,
guys.
guys.
See you in a bit.
See you in a bit.
See ya.
That was Alex, right? The Asian.
Yeah, timer. There's cameras.
Have you been recording our